Hello everyone. So in this video we're going to be talking about iFrames. And iFrames kind of have a really particular purpose. Um, and you might have even used iFrames or things that are similar to iFrames without even realizing it. If you take a video from YouTube or something like that, you embed it into a comment where the video shows up on your post without anybody having to click a link to go to another site. That's a form of an iFrame. When we're talking about iFrames, we're talking about a website inside of a website, essentially. So, sometimes you want that. Sometimes you have this other tool that you've created somewhere else that you want to bring onto this main page. It's something that I've done in the past where like, oh, I've created this tool and now I want to make it a part of this website and I don't want to take the code back out of here. I just want to take this tool that I've made, put it into this website. We can use an iframe to do that. So the iframe tag is a paired tag. At the bare minimum, you need a source attribute tag for it to work. And the source is your website that you're trying to put inside of your other website. For accessibility purposes, which we'll talk more about a little later on, you also want to include an alt attribute that describes the purpose of your iframe. We kind of use the alt attribute here in much of a similar way that we do with our images that we talked about previously. We're describing the purpose, and if it's just for decoration, then we can leave empty quotes for a decorative alt tag. But usually iframes have a purpose, so we want to describe the purpose of the iframe. And there's actually a little bit more that we might want to do with iframes for accessibility purposes that we will talk about when we get to our accessibility module a little later on down the road. Now we have these opening and closing iframe tags, and we can actually include a little bit of text between our opening and closing iframe tags. It won't show up on the page at all, but what it will do is it will give our users a message on the off chance that iframe doesn't load. Maybe their browser is blocking iframes. Maybe there was some kind of network problem that caused the iframe not to render. Whatever it was, then that issue is alerted to them by the text that we put in between the tags. So we'll jump from here into our code pen. So we can do a little example here. So now that we're in here in our code pen, we can talk a little bit about creating an iframe. The first thing that we're going to need is we're going to need our iframe tags. And iframe tags are paired tags, so we could just add them in like so. And once we do that, we can see that we have a little box that's appeared here. It's a nice and empty box. Nothing in it. The only thing that really is showing us that there's something there is that we have this beveled edge border around it. And we'll talk about how we can get rid of that shortly. So we'll want to add a source tag. The source tag gives us the ability to actually put that website in there. So if we just add http://www.clevelandcc.edu. In just a moment, you'll see there's the Cleveland Community College website showing up right there for us. And then between our tags here, we'll want to add some kind of information like browser does not support iframes. And you can see that when I have that there, and it keeps on reloading the page because that's the way that CodePen works. But you can see that when I add that text there, it doesn't appear in my page anywhere. It's only there, and that text is only there in the event that that iframe, for some reason, fails to load. So this is kind of awkward having it this small, but you can see that, I can take my mouse, I can put it into this little box, and I can move it around. I can click on things, I can interact with different parts of the website, just like I was on the website. But it is a little awkward to have it that small, so we need to manipulate our iframe via CSS a little bit so that we can make life a little easier on ourselves. The first thing that we might want to do is change the width. Maybe we want to make it something like 80%. And you can see, stretches my box out wide. And that takes and moves it past the normal, where the breakpoint would be for the website to move from desktop version to mobile version. Because we lost that little hamburger menu as well as, all the other mobile stylings there. But that's a little short, still hard to manipulate. So we can check out our height and set it to like 800 pixels. And now that's a little easier to deal with. It's still got to scroll a little bit, but it's a little easier. You can kind of see everything, interact with everything just a little bit easier. Than you could otherwise. Now we can play with this a little bit. Like we have this scroll bar here. The only way that we could really get rid of that scroll bar is if we size the height of our element to be big enough to fit the entire document height. So once I resize it to be 1100 pixels, the home page fits in nicely. But if I were to go to another page that had a larger document height, like let's say current students, you can see that my scroll bar there comes right back. So it all just depends on what the width and the height of your iframe is in comparison to what the width and the height of the document is. The other thing is that we still have that beveled border around our entire website. We might not want that there. So I can change that to border 0 pixels. And that gets rid of the border. But also you can see that I can kind of change the website around this. Like I can change the background color of the body. And all of that kind of stuff. So this website now is just a part of another website. And you can kind of see probably by now how this iframe and the usage of iframes could very well be utilized by, people who are up to no good, so to speak, in order to try to take advantage of you gain access to different things, so on and so forth. If we were to, if someone were to take a common website that people go to a lot, purchase a domain name that is close to, but not quite the domain name, like maybe if you were to typo it, you might end up at this other website. Buy that domain name, put it in, point it to a web page that you own, set an iframe to be the size of the whole page that is just this other page that people like to go to. And then in the background, have it download malware, have it download viruses, whatever, onto a user's system. And they would be none the wiser because they would enter in a website name, typo it, not realize it, see the website that they're used to seeing, interact with the website that they're used to interacting with, and not know the difference. So, just like anything else really with anything in technology, we can utilize technology for good and we can utilize technology for evil. There are a lot of purposes and a lot of ways that we can use this that are beneficial to us and beneficial to the websites that we make. But then this is also something that can be taken advantage of and utilized for some more nefarious purposes. But that's all that I have for you for this video. Thank you for watching.